Welcome to another podcast presentation from the Zenith Corporation.
Hello everyone, welcome back to In Out Delete, the show where we review both new and older movies. My name is Gino.
Robert.
America.
Ricardo.
And Gio.
And we are coming to you live from our editing bay. If you're new to the show, we use the rating system of In Out Delete.
And if you liked the movie, loved it, you would put it on the Voyager spacecraft so alien life could find it and watch it and love it as well. Out, if you did not like it and you would not put it on the Voyager spacecraft, you would recommend another movie to put on there. And delete if you would put it on the spacecraft, but one that's going directly into the sun because it's horrible.
So this week we watched Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark and my pick, which is Bloodsport, for us to watch. So let's take a quick listen for the scary stories.
Do you want to see a haunted house?
Some kids went missing, so they boarded it up.
Okay, we saw it. Should we go now?
Who ordered the chicken?
A group of teens face their fears in order to save their lives. That's a synopsis.
It's
Wow,
very
simple enough.
Whoa,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Well, that's what the movie was about.
Yeah.
Shit.
Not really, there's more to it than just that.
No, it was that
yeah,
at its
it was
core.
just-
Okay, fine. Well, Robert, I want you to go first. How about that?
I don't want to go first.
You're our horror expert.
I'm in. I enjoyed this movie. I love horror movies, in case you guys didn't know. Horror movies are kind of like my thing. And so I was really looking forward to this. I liked it. I didn't love it. It was a little on the vanilla side. And I know it's kind of a scary movie for kids, I guess. And
It's a
I guess
PG-13.
in that way it works. But I just felt like the screenplay was kind of on the weaker side. And the direction, too, was kind of on the weaker side as well. But I did enjoy it, but it's just not strong enough to be great.
Okay, that's interesting. I would like to go next. I am out.
What?
Yeah, I'm out. No, I'm kidding. I'm in. Sorry.
Sure?
Wait, what is it?
Sorry.
You in or out?
Believe
Sorry.
anything you're saying.
Sorry.
I know.
Sorry. I'm in. I mean, I meant to say in. I don't know why I said out, but I'm in.
He's in the out category, guys. He's in the out category.
No, I'm in. I agree with Robert. There were some moments I was like, could have been better, but it still scared me enough. Like there's moments I was like, ugh. Like I remember reading the book as a kid in elementary.
Wait, you can read?
Yes, Gio, I can read in a third grade level.
Oh, so it makes sense why you read this book. Yeah, all right. This was last week?
Yes, it was last week. Why you
Roasting you, dude.
Tienes aloe vera? So if someone has any aloe vera, please send it to our studios.
We need it for his burns.
But yeah, it's a really good story. I mean the story. There's what they did with the characters from the book, because they're all separate short stories, and how they played it in the movie was interesting. The acting was it's fair. You know, what do you expect? Like they're not really well known actors in a way, so it's like you get what you get. You know, and plus CBS Films did it. That's what I was interested. I was like, holy shit! And Guillermo del Toro produced it.
Yes.
And he did a story.
Screenplay.
Bit.
Yeah, so that to me was interesting. What about you, Gio?
I'm in. I'm not a big horror guy like Robert. It's not really one of my genres.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to stick to
That's why I
comedy.
hate you.
Right back at you. Yeah, I'm in. Like I enjoyed it. I wasn't bored at any time. There's a few jump scares kind of moments. I loved how, I guess, the concept of the books are like they're all short stories.
Yeah.
And the way they kind of combined that kind of element into one movie was pretty cool. I kind of like the way they kind of did that. But yeah, I found it enjoyable. Even though it kind of plays around with the same kind of concept that everyone's doing right now, retro kids,
Yeah.
going on crazy adventures.
Yeah.
But even though this one's 60s instead of 80s, like everything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's enjoyable.
Cool. What about you, America?
I'm out. Yeah.
Whoa.
I love the concept. And I kind of enjoyed the movie. It was okay. I didn't hate it. I didn't want to leave the theater, but it just, to me, it wasn't executed well. So I think the acting could have been better, the direction. I mean, but they are kids and they're not well known, like you guys said. So yeah, but I mean, it was okay. Even the scares. I mean, I got scared a couple times, but I'm a miedosa, so like it doesn't. I'm gonna get scared by anything. So I think even with it being like a kids movie, I think they could have gone a little further.
True.
Well, it's not a full-on kids movie, but
Well, yeah, but it's kind of
teeters
the
around.
audience, sort of. Yeah.
It's a
It's a
softer
middle.
horror movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in the middle ground, hence why
Yeah.
the PG-13. It's a cleaner kind of horror movie. It doesn't go
Yeah.
full-on gore.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting that, but it was a little disappointing. I had some expectations of it, so yeah, I'm out.
Okay. Ricardo?
No, I never actually heard of it before. Before even watching it, yeah, when I was in the theaters, I still was like, "Oh, what are we watching?"
Go to the library right now as we speak. Go. Run to the library. You can get a book.
No,
No,
as in,
No,
like,
I know what it is now. But when I was there, I was like, I don't even know what movie is this. I never saw a trailer.
as
or
in
anything.
marketing wise.
Really?
Yeah, I
I'm-
guess I never paid attention. Or
That's a
something.
nice way to go into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm out.
Ooh.
Yeah,
You
I'm
built
out.
it up like you
I know.
Even with no
because that's what it's
expectations.
supposed to be. Like I could be like, oh, it wasn't in, but
So
no.
why are you out?
Yeah, because nothing like there was nothing interesting, and I'm actually kind of tired of these nerdy stories. Like it's always about the nerds. You know?
Excuse
Yeah,
me?
all the time, right? Like focus on something else now.
You have Stephen King to blame for that.
It's always like
That's true.
like it or like Stranger Things. It's always like these nerdy kids that go into this
What's
adventure.
about the outcasts
Yeah.
and stuff?
I
Because
don't know.
writers are usually
The nerd-
outcasts.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what I
you
said.
told
I
me.
was like, what the
Yeah.
fuck
Right.
do you expect?
And
That's
I
why
was
the
like-
jock is always a villain. and stuff
Yeah,
like
it's-
that.
Remember, you
I'm
always
over it.
write what you know,
Yeah.
and that's
Plus,
what they know.
it's
They know the
something that
nerdy
you
side.
can root for, even if you're not the nerd. You want the little guy to win.
Yeah, the
I don't know.
underdog.
the underdog.
But at this point, I actually didn't like. None of them were funny. The guy was
I
supposed to
agree.
be funny. He wasn't even funny.
I thought he was fun.
That was funny too, yeah.
I didn't think it was funny. And then like he was the scary parts weren't even. I don't know. I didn't think it was cool. And the direction was like
Yeah.
mediocre. The dialogue was mediocre. The stories that were there were all mediocre. So like, I guess it's for the kids. But I'm not a kid anymore, so fuck all that shit. So I am an out. I didn't delete it though.
Yeah.
I'm an out.
Okay.
Warning, spoilers lie ahead. Please do not proceed forward if your film has not been viewed.
It's interesting because I kind of agree with you guys, but I still, I love horror movies. I literally watch all of them. And it was nice. It was a nice break from just the constant jump scares with no story, because that's what we get in horror these days, especially with like the more mainstream horror. So it was a nice little break from that. But I was expecting something a little bit better, having Guillermo del Toro involved, not directing but involved. The performances that were passable, not great. The screenplay was passable, not great. The directing, which should be the most key thing,
In a
was
horror
passable,
film.
not great.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I kind of wanted to get your take on these, but it seemed very dark, and not dark in like.
No, I get
But
it.
the cinematography,
Yes,
it was hard.
yeah, that was
Okay,
one of my first
okay,
things.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad you guys brought that. You say that because I thought it was the theater that I went to.
Me too.
I was blaming it on. I
Yeah.
thought whoever set it up
projection.
didn't do it right, and so I kind of gave the movie a pass a little bit. But because you guys saw it in different theaters and are saying the same thing, then I think that whatever the cinematography wasn't quite up to par because
Yeah.
it was really hard to see,
I
It
agree.
was.
Yeah.
not in a good way.
Yeah, like there's some things, certain elements where you kind of want like that detail was lost because it was dark.
Yeah, the whole initial up to the house, the haunted house,
Yeah.
that was
The
almost black.
a little bit of the
It needed more contrast. You didn't have enough
Yeah.
contrast in the image.
Yeah, during spoiler alert, during the transformation, the scarecrow transformation scene.
Yeah.
You kind of lose a little bit of that detail,
Exactly. Yeah.
like
All the
because
time,
of
yeah.
that.
That killed it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in certain
I was like
parts.
squinting my eyes, like trying to see.
Yeah, so
I was
Yeah.
literally blaming my seat because I had that light.
Yeah,
on my, like,
yeah. I was blaming my theater, but I think since we all had that experience, that no, it was really dark.
What do you mean by you all? Because I'm the only one that didn't have any issues like that at all in my theater.
really,
Wait,
Yeah,
you
I'm-
didn't? You could? Okay,
could see
when
everything.
the first time that the haunted house was revealed,
Yeah.
you could see full detail. You could see foreground and background. Because
Yeah.
to me, it looked like a fence with vines
Yeah.
and like a shadow, maybe,
No, I saw
of
the
a
house.
house.
The house.
It's like when you have to adjust your TV
Yeah.
a little bit.
yeah.
I think that's what they did because
Probably
No,
a bunch of people
They probably
complained,
brought it up
and
when
they're
they-
like, "Hold
Yeah.
on."
because I saw a lot. I mean, I didn't miss any. That's why I was like, when I'm hearing you guys, I'm like, eh?
That is
Like,
it, because I did kind of, I didn't blame it on the movie because I kind of gave it the benefit of the doubt. But hearing 3 or 4,
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah, I was actually gonna bring that up, but yeah, once I started hearing, it's like, wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah.
The cinematography was so off that it looked like a good student project. Like this is somebody's grad school project. Like this is their, that
Their thesis.
Yeah. Like it looked, I think story-wise as well, like cuz it was pretty weak.
Yeah.
Like this is a good student film, but this is not a great movie.
Yeah.
It was missing a little bit of something everywhere.
I wouldn't watch it again.
You know, one thing I was gonna bring up, it's kind of like if Nickelodeon made like a TV
Oh,
movie for
yeah.
Saturday
Oh,
night.
shit.
Yeah.
It's like a little. It's like that would have been
You're
the
right.
greatest thing
Yeah.
that had ever been on Nickelodeon,
So-
but
Yeah.
not quite great enough to be in theaters.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
So Goosebumps with
I
a good
agree.
budget.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I never saw Goosebumps. So I don't know.
I didn't see the
okay.
the Goosebumps movie that came out, but the TV show
Yeah.
with a budget.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why it felt like a slightly better TV movie, but just not quite
But
good enough.
that's why it wasn't good, you know.
But I enjoyed it. I mean,
Wait, TV movies
you know,
can be good.
You know what?
Lifetime?
I liked it because
course.
it's a gateway horror movie for younger kids, right?
That's true.
Kids will watch this movie, enjoy it. It'll make them more interested in horror, and then they could move on to the good ones.
And
right?
forget about this one, right?
I know, because if you watch this as a kid, you'll look back on it fondly.
Yeah, I think so,
You'll
too.
enjoy
You think
it.
so?
You're,
You
yeah,
think the
you,
kids-
I think you
Yeah.
can look past all that when you're a kid. Like it's just like, if it was on TV, if it was a Nickelodeon movie, you'd be like, "Oh, this is great," you know? Like
Remember, as a
you wouldn't
kid,
be
you're-
as critical.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm not a kid.
Think of all the shitty movies you liked as kids. No, but if you technically were critiquing movies, right? And if you're looking at it as a recommendation for an audience, you have
For
to
those kiddos.
talk about it to what it's aimed for, right?
I'll let
And
them
in
watch.
that sense, I think it worked.
I think they do it better in like Super 8.
Of course,
You
yeah.
know,
I'm
like-
not-
But
there
that's
are better
way
movies.
better
in
movies.
this.
That's a bigger
If I had a
budget.
kid,
We're
I would go
watching-
take them
It's
to
that's
watch
not a
it.
horror
They
movie.
probably have the
course.
same budget.
No,
They probably
but
have the
even
same
if you're
budget.
comparing, yes, there are much better movies in this. But
Yeah.
just as this movie, watching this movie in this theater, just not judging it by anything else other than what it is, I think it's an enjoyable movie.
Also, looking at what the source material
Enjoyable
was.
enough.
No,
Yeah.
what? I
Yeah.
didn't enjoy anything about it. I really wanted to leave after.
Wait,
I
did
was
you
just
delete?
Like, I know I am out.
Then
I'm not gonna delete
it was
Then there is
okay.
some parts
it was
you
okay.
like.
No, I'm like, if you're
Like
gonna
concept.
walk out, that's almost a delete. You're
Yeah,
literally
basically, I agree.
deleting
Yeah.
it
So
from your
it's close.
moment in
It's
time.
close to delete just
So
because
you're
of that
saying you're on
ending.
the fence.
Yeah, on the fence because that ending too was terrible. Come on, that ending.
my
was
God,
I feel like it was an
The-
Avengers ending. Like we're gonna figure this out.
Oh
We're
my
gonna...
god, it was so.
Yeah, I mean, it was
so
set up.
whack,
I
dude.
thought it was
I
fine.
think one
It
of the
was
worst
whack.
parts is the casting of the girl who found the book. Her
I
acting.
thought she was fine.
All
Yeah.
she did was like move her eyes and do like a squinty thing
was
and
so
just kind of
whack,
give a
dude.
look. Like
Yeah.
that was all of her
No
acting.
character was. Cool.
I mean, it wasn't
There was
like
no
I
cool
don't-
yeah, the
character.
character. Yeah, that's why I said the writing on it wasn't very strong.
Yeah,
None of the
trash.
characters are really well developed. You could see kind of the archetypes
mean-
that they have, but
Yeah.
not fleshed out.
But even
very
if
well.
the character was not well developed, she could have acted it better.
Maybe.
They all could
Yeah,
have
and the-
acted
Yeah,
it
I
better.
could agree with
it
that. Like
could've
the
been-
funny guy wasn't funny.
Yeah,
the
it
nerdy guy
wasn't
wasn't nerdy. The bully wasn't
What-
intimidating.
What the hell was that?
He
Like, I was
looked
like,
younger.
oh.
He looked younger than the
Yeah.
kids. Actually,
Yeah,
I was
it
like,
was-
this
I
13-year-old.
was like, this guy wouldn't. I would
Yeah.
beat this guy up. I was like,
I was like, what's going
the
on?
only good one was the Mexican. I was happy to see a
Yes,
Mexican.
Ramon. So 3 ins, 1 out, and 1 out turned to delete. Damn it, Ricardo.
You only get
You
one.
only get 1. Remember that.
That's your one.
Please stand by as your next film is being prepared. And remember, no flash photography is allowed during listening.
An awesome human weapon. It hurts me just looking at it. Who infiltrates the Chinese underworld.
I did not come this far to stop now.
Take him. To enter a forbidden competition.
Couldn't you just get me in?
Strict rules, no press.
You telling me you never break rules?
Where every fighting style, every worthy opponent, every deadly technique clash in savage combat.
Time to separate the men from the boys.
And only one will triumph. Now I break you.
Bloodsport, an American martial artist serving in the military who decides to leave the army to compete in a martial arts tournament in Hong Kong where fights to the death can occur. Why did I pick this movie? It's because I love the damn 80s action movies. 80s action movies. Sorry, 80 was the year I was born.
Or the miles per hour you have to go back in time.
Exactly. Thank you. But that being said, it's one of those 80s action movies where it's the corny like like action montages, like they're training or they're fighting, and the 80s action music, like he's gonna fight, he's gonna win, like, you know. And I love those things. And it's like, you know, just Van Damme going nah, you know. And this is like one of I think his first feature film as a action star. Yeah, really? So that's why I enjoyed it. And another thing is like, it had like a little comedies into it, like the two dumb-witted like military police guys. Forrest Whitaker's in it, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Like, come with us, Frank Dukes. Don't make it hard on yourself. And then they like running through the Hong Kong and Jackie Chan, like Jackie Chan. Racist. Sorry, he's from Hong Kong.
That's number 3.
And Van Damme's just running, all giggling, running, just hopping on some cars.
Did you really just compare him to Jackie Chan?
Well, sort of, because he's a martial artist too. My bad.
Hold on,
Yeah,
you're comparing
one does
this
his
guy
own
to
stunt.
I'm not
that guy?
comparing.
The other one is
Oh
Van Damme.
my god!
I'm sorry.
First,
It's
I
just-
was offended because it was racist, and now because you're attacking.
I'll chalk
my
it up to his wires got crossed. I'll let him have a pass.
Shut up. Either way, this movie to me is a great, fun action movie. I just enjoyed the typical 80s montages and blah blah blah. But yeah, what do you guys think?
Do you want to go first?
Yeah.
I want Gio to go first on this one, since he's been quiet here.
So this is a delete.
Oh
shit!
I hate you for making me watch this.
There's a lot of animosity.
Shots fired.
Ow.
This movie, it shows that this is his first movie. Even then, I've seen Street Fighter. No change.
No improvement. Or?
He does not improve, and there's at least a 10-year difference.
Like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, probably.
That's a good amount of time. You can hone your craft in that amount of time.
Wait, is that why you're deleting? Because his performance is so horrible?
Everywhere.
Okay.
The performance was horrible everywhere. It was bad acting everywhere. And it seemed like it was dubbed.
Yes!
It seemed like I was watching The Room. Because it just seemed like everybody was dubbed. I was just like, no, this is bad. Bad story, bad acting.
That's why I like it.
Not even Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds saved this.
Oh my god, you're right.
Yeah, he's his best friend in this. No. Bad Gino. Next.
Go, America.
Okay.
I want you to.
Oh man, I couldn't agree more with Gio.
Oh.
I hated this movie. It's Fast and Furious and this movie. Head to head, which one is worse? Bad acting. Just all of it. It really was like dubbed, I think. I really thought, kind of going back to Scary Stories, where we all thought it's just my theater. I thought because I was streaming it on a website that I got some chafa-ass version. I was like, damn, what happened? I was like, I'm going to disappoint them because I watched some other movie. Like, I didn't even know who Van Damme was. This is my first Van Damme movie. And I didn't enjoy it at all. There was a part where they showed his ass. Like, maybe that was the most fun I had. That was
unnecessary.
I fucking hate this movie. So bad. Oh god, I can't. That's it.
Delete.
So hard.
Is there something
I
beyond
broke the
delete?
delete button. That's how hard I hit it.
My turn?
Yes,
turn?
you, Robert. Yes.
I did not like this movie. I loved it.
Shut your mouth.
Yes.
I hate you,
Yes,
Robert.
you're in.
Oh my
I'm
god.
saying I'm super in.
Yes.
I mean, I have a soft spot for 80s action movies. And
they're
I had
good.
never.
Yeah, fine.
I had never seen
Commando,
this one.
that's
yeah,
fine.
Yeah, I had never seen this movie.
Predator,
I had-
fine.
Yeah, I had never seen this movie, and I'm glad I watched it because I finally got to watch it, and it did not disappoint. I liked the story. I enjoyed the story. I like the whole. I like tournament style movies, where they're knocking each other out and
So,
they're
Mortal
moving
Kombat.
towards which was I think this inspired the Mortal Kombat game. This goes back to something I said a few weeks ago, where back in the 80s, they used to take these action stars, Van Damme, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Stallone, who couldn't act, right? But they placed them in situations where they didn't really have to, and they put actors around them. So they really didn't have
You
to
sure
say
they were
anything.
actors?
I mean, this one was a little on the weaker side, aside from Forrest
A little?
Whitaker. Forrest Whitaker. It's funny. It's super hilarious when he tries to act, and he's so bad. But I think that's part of the charm. Because if you go back and look at all those 80s movies, yeah, this is obviously not one of the best ones. But watching this movie with the bad acting, the cool action fighting, the bad overdubbing, the cheesy score, the cheesy music, it felt like home, because those are the movies that I watched as a kid. Growing up in the 90s, these were the movies you watched that you weren't supposed to be watching, that you caught, late night on TV, or, your parents had the VHS and you put it on when they weren't home.
This is that Channel 22 movie.
Yeah,
but...
and it felt like home, it felt, and I loved it. I agree with you, I agree with all the flaws, but it's a certain kind of level of campiness that I enjoy to it. That's why I loved it.
I'm like, yeah, it's campy, but it's not enough.
How about you, Ricardo?
Yeah, so like you guys said, the acting, the story, the bad guy was pretty bad too.
He's awesome.
Yeah, but like he wasn't really a bad guy. But I'm in.
Yeah. Are you kidding?
Going out for beers later.
Oh my god.
It's the so bad it's good for.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that.
No.
And like
but
nothing
so enjoyable.
There's nothing
so enjoyable.
Where?
Dude, and then like his little flashback and everything, this training,
so awesome.
so cool, right? I loved
There
it.
was one black guy in this, and he had the little thing,
What
the
are you
little
talking
loincloth. He had all the
The cop is a black.
The guy was like crawling.
Yeah, he had
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
jungle moves, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What about
what the
the
hell?
big guy? There's a bunch
Forrest
of characters.
Whitaker's in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of black guys.
Yeah.
I missed it.
Even though the American is not an
I
American.
think she fell asleep.
Yeah, where
Possibly.
where is Van Damme from? Is he from France?
Belgium.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, is he from Argentina or something?
He's the muscles from Brussels.
There
I
you
didn't
go.
know.
But yeah, I loved it. I loved everybody.
Yeah.
And I can't wait. Like, I want to show my nephew
Hell
this
yeah.
movie.
Why?
You know, like, yeah.
Why? What is
This
he
is
gonna learn from this?
He's gonna be like, he'll love it. I know he's gonna
Yeah.
love it because it's like one
He
of
loves everything.
Again, when you're a kid, you love everything.
And,
Yeah.
and then
Oh,
like
God.
he the tournaments. I love that.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z, you know, like
Yep.
Mortal Kombat.
Love tournament movies.
Yeah, so it's
Thank
I loved
you.
it, yeah.
Karate Kid tournament movie. That's
Yeah,
better than
it's so
that.
silly too. It's so silly. Like the bad guy is like, what? He doesn't even kill his friend, right? Or spoiler, whatever.
Ah, well.
But he doesn't
No, he
kill him.
doesn't.
No.
He just
But
badly injures him.
yeah, he injures him, and he's like, "I'm gonna fight back for it." Like it's dumb because you're in a tournament. You're supposed to. You're like, what else is supposed to happen?
You're not supposed to beat him.
Like I don't get it. So like the bad guy wasn't even like I didn't know why he was like a bad guy because his friend, right, the white guy, he was talking shit to him, right? And
Yeah.
remember in the audience he's just like, "Oh, you're talking to me," you know? Like,
Yeah.
why are you pointing at me?
Well, I think they had mentioned that he, in a previous tournament, he killed the guy. Like, he took it a little too far.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I thought you could kill them. You
You-
can't.
No, I mean, it's by accident. You're
Yeah,
not going to
it
be in
was
trouble
accidental.
for it.
It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
and
in
then
and
like
intend to
at
kill.
first, but then like later he starts killing people,
I
right?
think
Yeah.
he kills one guy.
Yeah, and then like now it's a big thing, and now he's a bad guy, you know? So I was like, cool.
And speaking about Mortal Kombat, like,
What about you guys?
like Mortal Kombat, this was originally Mortal Kombat was Bloodsport. They had the licensing
Yeah.
for it, and then I guess like Van Damme's like, nah, I don't want to do it anymore. So they're like, well,
It's
fuck
gonna
it.
be about me.
Well, fuck it, we're gonna make this other game. Then like that's how the idea of Mortal Kombat came out, and that's why Johnny Cage was supposed to be Van Damme's character.
That's what I was gonna say. He
and
looks
so
like
that's
Johnny
why
Cage.
Johnny Cage is Johnny Cage now. Like, does a split, and they go, whoa, whatever.
The same one, right? Yeah.
But it is like, like, while I was watching this, I realized, like, wow, they truly don't make him like this anymore.
No, they
right?
don't.
for
And,
sure.
you know,
Thank
I
God.
should, right?
No.
Make another one.
No,
of
no, no, because here's my point.
Well,
is that,
actually, they do.
No, wait.
It's called Hobbs and
no,
Shaw.
no.
It's the
Wait,
new version of this.
Yeah.
here's what I was gonna say. That these movies are such a product of their time, and you don't really get that identity anymore in movies, and that's one of the reasons why I overlook literally every flaw in this movie because
You
it's-
just closed your
yeah,
eyes while you
again,
watched it.
It's a
It was
nostalgia.
a radio play
Yeah,
to you.
it's a nostalgia thing. No, because I love the visuals. It's a nostalgia thing, and I freely admit to it. You know, it's a movie. I love these 80s action movies, and this one I'm ashamed I never watched it before. And if it's true, if you don't really enjoy that time, that era of filmmaking,
But
then you're gonna look at this and go like, "What the fuck is this?"
I actually was excited to watch all the
Really?
cheese. I was excited to watch something really cheesy and really like, and be like, oh my god, that's funny, to laugh at it.
Yeah.
Wrong.
I just couldn't. I couldn't because I knew what it was gonna be. You know, I didn't know what it actually was about, but I figured based on the subject. You know. No, I was not prepared for how much I hated it. Like, I really thought I was gonna be like, oh yeah, this is an '80s movie. This is whatever.
Yeah, and then that sucks too, because you're right. Like, they can't make that anymore. No, if a movie comes out like this now, and like American has an accent, everybody's gonna talk shit.
Yeah,
you know?
of
so,
course.
Like,
No, unless it's a southern accent or, New York or whatever.
But
I will say that this is not quite on the level of like a Commando and those other Rambo First Blood Part 2. It's not quite on those levels, but it's enough, and I really enjoyed it.
Because I know that I have a lot of family members, they're like Mexicans. They love that shit.
Yeah.
They
Did
love
you just
that.
whisper Mexican?
Yeah.
I know. Are you ashamed?
Because I grew up watching like the Delta Force and like Chuck Norris movies that were all just as bad as this one, but again, it's a certain nostalgia that I have for these movies. That's why I enjoyed it. I mean, I agree. It's fucking terrible. The acting is so bad. That kid that plays Jean-Claude Van Damme, so horrible. And did you notice he has a Giants hat, the San Francisco Giants baseball team, and a the New York Giants football jersey. It's like somebody in the art department just grabbed they're both Giants, so it checks out, but they're two completely different teams from different cities, so there's no way he would have
who
both
made
of
this
them.
movie? Who wrote this movie? Like, what is the
But I love that.
about
I love
this?
that. Like, it's like, I don't know how to explain it. How do you explain this?
What?
Like, that, like, the way it's filmed, like that. Like,
Yeah, you're just
like
used
that.
to this.
man.
You're just used to all
it's
this
cheesy.
cheese.
You saw it as a kid, and you're like, "Oh man, it's cool because
this
there's all
is the
this
most
fighting."
awesome thing ever. It's the tournament fighting. And I agree with you. If this movie came out today, I would be deleting it because of the insulting. It would be insulting to an audience to watch. And again, I'm just looking at it with the nostalgic goggles, and I loved it. I honestly loved it.
For reals, who wrote this? Who produced this? Was this the beginning of their career? Was this the end? Was this
This is Jean-Claude's beginning. Yeah.
he?
Jean-Claude Van Damme's beginning career.
No,
Who
but I mean,
wrote
like,
it?
who's
Who
behind
directed
it?
it? Who produced it? Like, who made this happen? Whose idea was this?
Get another
And was
job
this the
after
end of their career, or was this
Well,
the
you
beginning
see,
of their career?
Back then in the 80s, they used to just churn these movies out one after another. And you had a lot more production companies
sequels to this.
with
I mean, yeah,
with
I
a
know
little.
that.
You had what used to happen is that you had a lot of little production companies who used to pump these movies out, and that's something that's another reason why you don't see movies like this today, because there really aren't that many production companies anymore.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why you lose kind of that this style of movie.
I
And
love
again,
it.
that's why I look back on it so fondly.
And dude, I remember I seen like part 3 or something.
I wish
and I was
I-
like drunk, and I loved it, man. So like these movies are not they're not boring to me. I think
wish
it's like
that I
super
could see
entertaining.
just 1% of what you guys are seeing.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I really do.
I wish you could too, but I do
Same.
see the critic in me goes like, this is such a bad movie.
Yeah, I get
but
that too.
when movies are bad, I really don't like them. I really hate them.
Yeah,
But-
I hated this.
Yeah, but bad movies from the 80s have a different quality to them, at least to me, and I like a lot of them for some reason.
So, guys, make sure you guys tune in next week as we review a movie called The Good Boys and America's Pick.
Okay, I think I'm gonna punish you guys next week.
Ooh,
Have you guys seen
Bloodsport 2.
No.
there's Bloodsport 2.
Channing Tatum, the dancing stripper ones. What is it
Magic
called?
Mike.
Magic Mike.
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay, we're watching Magic Mike.
Okay.
Oh,
Bring it on, yeah.
Okay, well, fuck it. Yeah, let's make it right.
That's not a punishment to me.
He loves male
That's a
strippers.
treat.
Only the show is good.
Well, guys, what are you guys' prediction for The Good Boys?
Great.
It honestly looks funny, but it looks like too over the top. Like the comedy is just gonna be like, oh, these kids are just doing crazy things, and I feel like that's kind of easy in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm sure I'm gonna have a good time, but it's just like, why, like why have these
am I
kids?
having a good time?
Yeah.
I had
No,
fun
why-
last week. Why am I having fun again?
Like if they just, all it is just to push the envelope. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, it's for sure gonna be that. Yeah.
that's what it is.
But it looks funny.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna be in.
Oh, America's gonna be in. Are you, Ricardo?
I don't know. I'm hoping for an end. So
Ooh, another one. You?
I
Gio?
think same. I think it's kind of like what you were saying. Or it's just be like, look at these kids in these wacky situations
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
nasty,
Yeah.
and it won't have much of a structure kind of
Exactly,
thing.
yeah.
So like, it'll probably be funny, Like there's some things that are like make you laugh and probably make you cringe, and certain things are like ee. But but yeah, I think it probably won't have that like a story, and it's probably gonna be the weak part of it.
It's like Seth Rogen said, like, well, my most successful movie is Superbad, so
Yeah.
let me just make them younger.
Let me Stranger Things this.
Sprinkle some Stranger Things.
It's just
on
a filter
Superbad.
now.
Yeah.
It's like a like
It's
a
always
filter
about
for
the
movies.
nerds too, right? Again with the nerds.
Well, that's gonna be a fun episode to review that one. Well, have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Please exit the podcast and don't forget to collect all your belongings and young children. We hope you enjoy listening and have a great rest of your day here at In, Out, Delete.
This has been a podcast presentation from the Zenith Corporation, working for a better tomorrow for all of mankind.